You can find From the Dome on iTunes, Podbean.com, and the Podbean app. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, thank you for making us a part of your day. Now, here are your hosts, Augie and Bray.
Oh, it's a sad day here on From the Dome on this Tuesday evening at 8:48 p.m. The new college football rankings have yet to be released, as it really is irrelevant at this point after what was a lackluster showing by our Notre Dame Fighting Irish on Saturday night. I'm joined by my boy Aug. We are here to talk about that game. I would say probably less, I don't know. I was thinking originally less to break down the game, more to just bitch about random shit. But, you know, it'll turn into game breakdown, I'm sure. But, Augie, welcome, and I'm sure you're just as happy to be discussing this and bringing this back into your memory again as I am.
No. Not gonna lie, not really wanting to talk about this game. Not going to lie, this is not going to be enjoyable. I was very angry Saturday night. In fact, I promised a rant for the show this week,
which I'm excited for.
I don't know if that'll happen because I'm not exactly a ranter. We'll see how angry I get throughout the show. But hey, it's good to be with you, I guess.
I've got some questions for you that maybe we'll get you back on your ranting ways.
Okay, that's fine. I could maybe do that.
So, well, let's just dive right into it. Why don't we? You know what we should have done? We should have just recorded this on Sunday while everything was fresh in our head, and we could have gotten some real emotion probably. I mean, Go ahead.
Did you watch the whole game?
I watched every snap. I put myself through every snap.
So I was in Cincinnati this weekend. My friend lives in Cincinnati, and we went there for the weekend. And there's an Irish pub that's a block from his buddy's place. And I was like, you know what? Let's go watch this game at the Irish pub.
Yes, because that's perfect, you know?
It's ideal. So we go there. We're playing pool. We're watching the game. I'm getting very angry, pretty drunk, and I left at halftime. I just couldn't do it anymore.
So I've heard of multiple people turning the game off, either only watching it till halftime or turning it off at some point, which, you know, I can't really blame them. I don't know why I do this to myself, but I have to watch every snap of every game, except last week when I missed Brandon Wimbush's 55-yard touchdown run. But I don't know why I do this, but I couldn't turn it off. I just had to watch it to the end. I had to watch and see if anything good happened, and really nothing did. But
there were just no positives.
Well, the Irish pub thing, that's a positive. I would have...
Yeah, it was cool, except not many Notre Dame fans in there, and it was kind of embarrassing.
Well,
it was embarrassing.
It sounds like Notre Dame's game plan. Like, sounds great. Like, going to the Irish pub to watch Notre Dame play in prime time. Yeah. Sounds like a great idea, wearing the Notre Dame gear in there, and you're in uncharted grounds, you know, in Cincinnati, probably more Ohio State-y, I would imagine, and you just get absolutely embarrassed in front of all your friends.
Yep, pretty much. Hit the nail on the head there. It was fun. It was not fun. I'm not going to lie.
So in case you forgot the score and just want a refresher, as I'm sure everybody listening to this show just wants to hear, Notre Dame lost 41-8 and never was anywhere remotely a game. So I'm going to open this up with this question for you right now, Og, and you know what? I don't even care. Are you on the fire Brian Kelly train? Coming in hot.
Yeah. Okay. Am I on the fire Brian Kelly train? I knew you were going to ask me this question. I didn't think it was going to be this early in the show. No, not yet. Not quite. I'm still not there. I can't do it. I just look at the season. I mean, I'm very pissed off about this past week, but then I look back and I look at the season as a whole and I see the improvements that have been made. I think you give him one more year.
Well,
especially since. Go ahead.
I mean, improving from 4-8. Let's be honest.
Yes, I think you give him one more year. I know that's not going to be a popular opinion with some people, but you know.
So one more year to what? What does he accomplish?
I think one more year you have to make a playoff. You have to be a top 4 team. I think you've had this year, this buffer year. We'll call it that, to improve. He's done that. We cannot lie and say he hasn't. We didn't show up this week. It's plain and simple. But we've showed up every other week. I think even give him this buffer year, get a bowl win. This we're going to be in a pretty good bowl, assuming we win out.
Yeah, assuming
Win a bowl, win out. Give him next year. If next year doesn't happen, you got to part ways.
Okay, so I when I asked myself the same question on Saturday night, I was furious with it, right? And I did a little bit of the same thing that you did, and I said, you know what, I'm going to look at this and think about it. And the main thing that came into my head with it was virtually everybody's prediction was 8-4, right? I mean, that was a very common season prediction for people. Okay, 8-4, 9-3, sure. I said 10-2, which is obviously still reachable. You said 9-3, I believe, or maybe originally started 8-4. I don't remember. I had to go back and listen.
I believe I was 9-3.
So some people. This is the thing to me, is that the same people that said we would be 8-4 now want Brian Kelly fired because we don't. We didn't win a big game on the road. Which, look, I'm all on board for, and I am. Last year I was really tiptoeing that line of, do I really think he's the guy for the job, okay? And I said, you know what? I was with you. Let's give him one more year, and he has to at least show signs of relevancy and improvement. And the staff changes that he made that's a fact. That has changed. Things have changed. Now, we didn't show up for a game, and we're poorly prepared, and that's all on the coaches as well as some on the players. But I can't say to this point that I want him fired. I think I'm with you. I don't know, I don't know how many more years he gets or what his leash is. That's a question that I still have in my head. But I think your point of he has to make a playoff next year, and I think more importantly, he has to win out this year and win a BCS, a New Year's Six bowl, because we will go to a New Year's Six bowl and probably play Ohio State again.
I was just going to ask you, if let's say he loses to Navy or Stanford or the bowl game or loses the rest of them. I mean, is it over? I think.
Yeah, I mean, if he loses, he's going to lose this team if that happens, and that can't happen. He can't have lost his locker room two straight years.
Yeah, and that's what would have, and that we've seen that a couple times. It seems like with them, you get to the last 3 weeks and it just all falls apart. So.
Which we can't let happen, and we've been saying all year, and I've been saying all year that I think that this team is different, and I do. And the biggest thing about this game, without going into too much detail about the game specifically for this first little bit of the podcast, is I think it's obvious to a lot of people, anybody that's watched Notre Dame play, that Miami is not 41-8 better than us. Okay, I'm not even fully convinced that Miami was the better team. Now, they were Saturday night, but throughout the course of the season, I think Notre Dame's a better football team. Honestly, and was Miami a lot better than I gave them credit for? Absolutely. And I was a little confident going in. It looked like Notre Dame was a little confident going in, but I honestly believe that if Brandon Wimbush and this defense to start this game would not have just pissed down their leg, we are a better football team, in my honest opinion. Now, that more leads to the coaching discussion of Brian Kelly didn't have him ready to play, and coaching staff didn't have him ready to play. I mean, it was just a bad performance on every aspect. And one of the other things I was thinking about when I was asking if I thought Brian Kelly needed to be fired was, and this is something that I'm very guilty of, that a lot of the fan base is very guilty of. I think that, look, my philosophy has been, look, it's a playoff or bust type thing, and you might have these occasional years like last year that happen that really can't and are excusable, but hey, we're going to give it to you, I guess, So my thing with the program, and I am guilty of this, and I'll admit it, and I will forever be guilty of this, I think. I don't know if I'll ever get over it, is what is this program? I mean, is this program a playoff team every year type program? Is this? I don't think so. Especially looking at the last 8 years under Brian Kelly. Now, we've shown signs, but we just had never consistently been able to be that type of team and that type of winning program under Brian Kelly. So even before him, Charlie Weiss was the same way. Willingham was the same way. Bob Davie was. Since Lou Holtz, we have not been consistently relevant So the question is the program, are we a 9 or 10 win team every season? Okay. Or is that the new expectation? 9 to 10 wins. Okay. 8, 9 to 10 wins with, you're making New Year's Six bowls and you got to win them, right? Or compete in them. And with the occasional 4, 5, 6 years, every 4, 5, 6 years, you get this special group together that can make a decent playoff run. And there's your opportunity. Is that what the program is?
Yeah, I don't think right now the program is a playoff team, a competitive playoff team every year. Like you said, especially under Brian Kelly, and maybe that's a reason to fire him if you were to go
Sure.
that route.
Absolutely.
I mean, if your expectation that Notre Dame's culture has built is to be a national championship contender every year, you would have to part ways. The problem is, I think we say this every year with Brian Kelly is, oh, let's just give him one more year. He's right there. He's got a young group.
Yep, of course.
And I'm not switching my, reason to I want to fire him now. I'm just playing devil's advocate and giving the reasons on both sides of the ball right now. You could make an argument either way. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating that every year we have to have the same conversation. And that's why I don't think it's a terrible, non-possibility for him to get fired. I definitely could see it possibly happening.
I don't think Swarbrick pulls the trigger on it. I don't. Look, I'm not saying. And like last year, my biggest thing was I thought I liked Brian Kelly, man, and I want him to succeed at Notre Dame. I really do. And I'm not going to root for him to lose his job. I'm not going to root for the team not to win big games just so that he can lose his job, or make opinions based on, hey, here's a statistic that he's not a better coach than Mark Richt. I'm not going to secretly hope that Miami beats us just so that I can be right in terms of the success of the program and Brian Kelly, just because I want him to succeed is the bottom line. But I honestly think, Augie, that we as fans, the sooner that this happens, and again, I will be guilty for the rest of my life of not accepting this. I will hold this program to a higher standard than what it really is. But this program is 9 to 10 wins every single year. That's what they are. And that's where the program has been for 20 years. And no real signs of anything are pointing towards a consistent playoff contender, national championship contender every single year. So honestly, that's where the program is, and that's what we should expect every year. Me coming up here and saying playoff or bust, I think honestly is unrealistic, and I will be guilty of saying that every single year just because that's the kind of competitor I am. That's the kind of I want my team to be that, and I'm just blind to the actual reality of the program, and I'll admit that.
And look, I want to put it here that we don't make it easy on ourselves kind of program. By playing all these, by being an independent and we play all these very good programs. I mean, our schedule was not easy this year by any means. What did we play, like 5 top 25 teams or teams that were in the top 25 at some point or something to that extent? And we're not making it easy for us. I mean, some of these schools, I'm Alabama, I'm trying to think who else, just some of these top tier teams that are always there. They're not, I don't think they're usually playing 5 top 25 teams. I'm not saying let's go join the Big Ten, but I'm just saying it's not like sometimes we just don't give ourselves any help in that category. But I agree with you. I think right now this program is a 9-10 a win season team. That's the expectation. Well, no, the expectation still is, to be a national championship contender is just not reasonable. And
yeah, and to your point of being an independent, we have this agreement with the ACC, right, that we have to play 5 games a year. So we spread ourselves in every single conference, right? Every single relevant conference we've played. We've played against the SEC, have future games against the SEC, Big Ten, Pac-12, Big 12. We played Texas and Oklahoma. Like, we've spread ourselves around the country and played. And think about the teams that we've played in the ACC, right? Like, when we played Florida State, it was when they were at their best. When we played Clemson, they were in the middle of a national championship couple-year run right there. You know, when we played Miami, they're on the peak of where they've been in the last 15, 20 years. Like, to your point of, it's almost like a little bad luck, you know, like we're playing these teams, which is good because we need to compete against them. But I don't know if when Swarbrick made the ACC deal that he thought that, God, we're going to be playing Clemson, Florida State, and Miami when they're all top 10 teams on the road. You know, I mean, that's tough. And no, the ACC in this deal has not sent one team to South Bend that has been highly ranked or they're one of their top teams to South Bend. All of these games have been on the road. Now, again, you have to win, and it's a great opportunity to put in front of your program. I'm not really complaining about that, but when you talk about making it easy on yourself, and you look at Miami, who plays Mercer, or Samford, and Georgia, who plays those types of teams, they have those weeks, right? And I'm not fully convinced that when Swarbrick made this schedule with or agreement with the ACC, that we were going to actually be playing these teams that are in the middle of really, really good runs for them, right? Maybe they were going to be good wins, but not like, God, we're playing top 10 teams in hostile atmospheres for 3-4 straight years in a row. Again, I'm not trying to say that to discount anything or like have any sort of excuse. You have to win those games.
Yeah, you got to win. If you want to be a national championship team, you got to be able to win against a top 10 team on the road. It just has to happen. But yeah, we're at an interesting point right now. It could go. I mean, this week's big for Brian Kelly, I think, as well. You lose this week, he might want to start calling U-Haul and start getting some arrangements made.
Yes. Just
because you lose this week, it shows you can't bounce back. You've already showed that you really struggle to win a big game on the road, and if you can't bounce back, it just shows that you might have lost control of the program. So it's just an interesting situation. I think right now he's safe. We'll see what the next 2 to 3 games do. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm not on the train yet.
So we're going to get to – I asked some people on Twitter, and we got quite a response, honestly, to give us some questions, okay? One of which we'll discuss possible replacements for Brian Kelly and who we think. Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit, but I have a couple more on this list that are hot questions that I want to get your opinion on. So – in terms of the actual game itself, what were your feelings when we pulled Wimbush in the first half?
Too early, just way too early, I thought. He was struggling, it's obviously, but he's still been your starting quarterback all year. You're in week, 10, 11, and you pull him. It seems so quick. It seemed like we were frantic all of a sudden. It seemed like we didn't have our composure, and it really reminded me of a Everett Golson type situation where if one thing went wrong, it was Tommy Rees coming in to save the day. Except Ian Book didn't look any better and really kind of pissed down his leg too. I mean, and I don't think the play calling was helping any of them, both of them. We ran a slant play like 5 times, and then right before halftime we run it for the 6th time, and they take it back for 6. So.
Well, you have an interesting point on the play calling. I mean, we completely went away from the formula that got us to where we were, that got us to be ranked in the number 3 team in the country. I mean, look, our first couple possessions, I mean, I tweeted out at one point, I think we had the ball 3 times maybe, and we had 9 passes and 9 rushes. And it's like, look, I'm not saying that you have to run the ball 60% of the time, but that's your bread and butter. That is what we were calling your sustainable formula that helps you win games on the road in primetime environments, right? You completely went away from that and didn't even give yourself a chance. And when you were running outside runs against a team that looked faster than you, that looked like you were an 8th grade team playing a varsity football team in terms of speed. That's what they look like. And you run right at them. There was no adjustment made. And then, obviously, to the question of Wimbush, it's like, look, my opinion on that was I called for him to come out. He had to come out. The dude couldn't even throw a spiral. I mean, he wasn't throwing the ball 60 yards down the field and it was a duck. He was throwing 10-yard quick slants. He missed the one wide open guy, Equinemius. You have to take advantage of those opportunities, okay? When that is right in front of you, you have to take advantage of it. Because I'm not saying that completely changes the game, but it definitely softens up that defense and has them on their heels at least for a little bit. So, again, that I don't know if that changes the outcome. That's a what if question that would you can talk about forever. But the fact that he missed him, he couldn't throw a spiral to a guy on a quick slant. He had a weird sidearm action going on his one interception that got tipped up in the air. He literally threw the ball in the dirt to Josh Adams in the flat. And like he had lost all composure. He was in no way, shape, or form going to even come close to bringing you back in this game. And you had to bring in Book. You had to. He was completely pissing down his leg and was not getting out of it. You could see it right in his eyes.
Yeah, I think I disagree with you on this one, and we don't disagree much, so it's kind of weird.
No, but he wasn't going to bring them back. Looking at that, he was not going to bring them back.
But I don't think Ian Book would bring you back either. And look, yeah, he might not have been throwing the ball well, but it goes back to you got to put him in a situation that he can succeed in. That
absolutely.
We have a threat with him and his legs, and we have a threat with right behind him with a running back. Why the hell not call some type, maybe like a read option? I don't freaking care. I mean, I don't think they put him in the best situation to succeed there. And look, do I think he should have been pulled at some point? Yeah, probably if he kept doing what he was doing. But I think by pulling him that early, I just don't see where Ian Book is going to bring you back either, and he's not even a threat with legs. So now you become pretty much one-dimensional all the way around.
I think when they pulled Wimbush, it was 20-0, and then Book comes in right before half and throws a pick six, and he's trying to run a 2-minute drive. Now, he's moving the ball a little bit, had a couple nice completions, had a little run himself for 10 or 12 yards. The ball was going, and he just got completely read by that defense, and they made a play. Look, you have to tip your caps to Miami, okay, because they were ready to play. Their fans are ready to go. I mean, talk about an environment that was electric and something that, wow, that would have been cool to be a part of. And you know, you have to give them their kudos. But at the same time, this isn't the same Notre Dame team. That's not the same Brandon Wimbush. That's not the same Josh Adams. And I have weird nitpicky things on Josh Adams that we will get to. It's not the same offensive line. And it's convenient that when we play somebody with a fast defense or actually a legitimate defensive line, it seems like we get pushed over and McGlinchey sucks against everybody any good. I mean, I get that argument. I fully do. But, you know, you can look at other games and say that they were successful against NC State. But it's neither here nor there. You have to perform in the big stages, okay? So let's talk about Josh Adams since I just brought him up. I had bringing up all year his durability issues. Okay, he got hurt at some point in this game and maybe wasn't himself. Last week had the same issues. I mean, what is going on with this guy? And is it just me, or is he take 8,000 years to actually hit a hole and actually run?
I think we got spoiled playing with Josh Adams in the last 5 to 6 weeks. I think we got spoiled by him having just the offensive line having a really good day. I don't think Josh Adams is a bad running back by any means, but I think you're right. It seems like sometimes he just takes forever to find a hole and hit the hole. He's not an outside runner by any means, especially against that Miami team, like you said, that was 10 times faster than us. I don't know what's up, and it, like you said a couple weeks ago, he's soft, and this was kind of the first week I really saw it and thought, man, he is a little bit kind of soft.
Oh, I for sure think he's soft. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's big and strong, looks big and strong. Every now and then he shows glimpses of being somebody that can bounce off people and take a couple shots. But again, for the majority of his career, he's been soft. And you look at some of his big runs, it's when you could drive a Mack truck through the middle of them. He hasn't, think about any of his runs. Has he broken any big tackles? The one against NC State, or I might be thinking of the wrong game, but he was going down the sideline and stiff arm. He broke a tackle and stiff armed a guy and finished his run. That was as beast of a run as we've seen from him in his whole career. And,
right.
he takes way too long to find the hole. When there's games where the defense seems to have a nice game plan and taking our run away, and maybe the holes aren't there, and maybe he needs to hit it a different way or have a little jump cut action. He he goes to where he's supposed to go and kind of just like curls up in the ball and falls over. There's no fight in him. He's not fighting to get 2 or 3 extra yards when he actually gets contact. And look, this is a game, and I find myself saying this after every single loss. That I know Dax has been hurt, okay? But you saw him go in there towards the end of that game and have a couple nice 10-yard runs. He ripped a couple 10-yarders off. And maybe he's not fully healthy. I get that. Then why was he playing at the end of this game? But I find myself saying, whether he's healthy or not, that, hey, we lose to Georgia, and God, if Dex would maybe had 8 or 10 carries, we might have won that game. Well, maybe tonight when he goes in there, Saturday night when he goes in there, that he's a little bit of a spark to it. And I don't know. I just think he was a better runner to play against that defense, and there was no adjustment made for it.
Yep. So I wanna bring something up, kind of side note, real quick. College football. It's 9:13. We started this about 8:50. Kind of waiting for the college football playoff rankings to come out. They have not come out yet because the basketball game is running over, and it was tied as of a couple minutes ago.
Cool.
So, those should be coming out hopefully at some point soon. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I mean, Miami has to jump into the top 4. I mean, that's a heck of a win for them. They're undefeated. They finally took care of a good team. Well, I guess what we thought was a good team. And, I don't know where we land. I don't know if it really matters. It doesn't really, but
no, you're asking for about 7 teams to have to lose.
No, we have no shot of being in. I'm just saying, Are we a top 10 team still? I mean, what are we? Which is good when you think about it, right? Yeah. Think about where we were last year, and now you can say we finished the year. Like, that's what everyone's saying is, guys, think about what would you, if somebody would have told you in August that come November 14th there's a legitimate shot that you're a number 9 team in the country, would you take that? Well, yeah, you're going to take that, right? But the circumstances do change throughout the season, and things happen, right? But I don't know. It just amazes me that you can have off nights, okay? I have off days, you have off days, I'm sure, right? But the weirdest thing about this is how can you have no emotion, no intensity, and no aggressiveness in term when you go to play this game, right? No, think about the defense the first couple series. Everything they were letting come to them. They weren't attacking anything. Us offensively, we weren't really attacking anything, and when we did, we couldn't actually, execute the play. And it's just literally, I didn't see anybody with any emotion until Alize Mack caught his first touchdown pass of his career in the fourth quarter, and he lets out a big scream, and it's like, bro, we're down 41-0 or whatever it was,
Yeah.
So it just amazes me how, I mean, I don't know if that's coaching. I do coach. I coach, okay? And so I have a little bit of a soft spot for, and I don't want to blame players, but players do have to do certain things, right? I can give whatever pep talk I want to my basketball team, but if they're not ready to play mentally and emotionally invested, how do I fix that? How does Brian Kelly fix that?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. It seemed like from the start, we were playing not to lose early, which is outrageous.
That's what it seemed like, yeah.
Yeah, and instead of trying to win, it was kind of like we came in and the guys were like, all right, this is pretty crazy atmosphere. They're probably going to play really well. Let's, not mess up. Let's be good and not lose. But
yeah, let's
really
let the game come to us for the first 8 minutes and see what happens.
Let's try and get comfortable. And guess what? We never got comfortable.
Yeah, it's like they knew the tornado was coming and they were just trying to withstand it. Let's get through it and then we'll recover. No, you can't do that.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
But so about the coaching thing, right? My little soft spot for that, I get, and I think a lot of people understand that. If you're a realistic person, I think, okay. But this is the thing that is on the coaches, okay. Look, people have bad nights. We talked about this, But how can your offense, defense, special teams, and coaching staff be off on the same night? Like, that to me is on the coaches. Nobody was ready to play. Even our special teams, when you looked at, even when we punted the ball, we legitimately punted poorly enough that they had Barrios was able to return a couple kicks and be dangerous. Like, no asset of our game or aspect of our game was even remotely ready to play. And to me, that is on the coaches.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it comes down to what kind of culture are you bringing in that day. I'm not a coach, but I can imagine that the day and your team starts out with how you as a coach come into the day and how you act, and it seemed like this whole team as a whole was acting the same way, and that was timid, scared, or it was a kind of we got this, they're not that good, we should be okay kind of thing. And either way, it didn't work.
Yeah, obviously, right? 41-8. Good God, I'm going to keep saying that all night. 41-8. 41-8.
All right. Thanks. Got it. Thanks.
So, a couple closing thoughts here before we kind of get to some Twitter questions and wrap this up. So, the good thing is this I don't know all the Twitter questions. I have to look through some of them, but it appears that we're just bitching about random shit, which is kind of fun and not really talking about the game per se, right? We are, but indirectly. So, okay, a couple closing things I want to bring up. In my humble opinion, and you obviously give yours, I honestly think the best thing for this running back group moving forward, I'm canceling this year. Like, we're in the off season. The best thing for this running back group would be Josh Adams to go pro, and everyone's gonna think I'm crazy because everyone's like, if he has a year of eligibility and can come back, we want him back. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be totally disappointed if he comes back, but honestly, in my personal opinion, that if Josh Adams came back, that would be the worst thing for this running back group. I think that he needs to go pro, and I don't even know if he's going to be a good pro. I don't know if he's good enough running back in the NFL to be a good pro. Now, can he develop and change? Absolutely. And is he one of the better prospects we've probably sent at running back? Yeah, because think about it. Theo Riddick is making a decent impact in the NFL. So is CJ Prosise when he's healthy, and he's probably better than those two. I don't know. Okay. Go pro. Whether you're going to be a good pro or not, I'm still skeptical about that. But honestly, that's the best thing for this. Give the reins to Dex. Give the reins to Tony Jones. You got the freshman in C.J. Sanders. You have the Mr. Reliable in Deion McIntosh. That's still a good four-headed monster. Please let this be Dexter Williams' show, because I don't want this to happen. We watched Greg Bryant sit in our backfield and lay waste, right? Completely wasted his 5-star talent. I'm not saying that Dex is that talent, but I'm saying Dex is good, and I think Dex needs the rock, and I think that's the best thing for this running back core after this year.
I think we have a good problem here. I think we got a very good problem. Anytime you have the problem of, do we bring back our potential first-round draft pick running back on hope he comes back, or do we want him to go pro so our 5-star recruited backups that have shown they can play. I mean, it's a great problem to have. I think you're good either way. Do I want to see Josh Adams go pro? I want to see us have more of an outside runner, and he's not it right now. And if he goes pro, I'm not going to be mad. If he comes back, I'm not going to be mad. But I would really like to see, if he does come back, for us to develop somebody to run to the outside.
Well, and so the style of runner that he is to me is, it's like, okay, here's a hole you can run a Mack truck through, and then you get 2 strides, and then you're up to speed, right? Dex is a guy that can make a guy miss and get to his speed quicker, right? And he's more of a slasher, more of a cutter, more of a, maybe a couple more guys kind of bounce off of him, bowling ball type thing, and then he hits the jets, right? Now, does he have the finishing speed? I don't know. He's gotten caught a couple times this year from behind. But look, I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. But I understand what you're saying, and I think we have some legit speed in Dex Williams. He could get some outside runs. I think he can do what Josh Adams does this year. I think I think it's CJ Holmes. That's the running back. I apologize I think I said Sanders. But
yes, you
That's a nice speedy guy that we saw a little bit of it against North Carolina. He had a shoulder injury. I think we're just so deep there that like I don't want to lose any of those guys because Josh Adams decides to come back and have another season like he's having. Which look, he's having a great statistical season. There's no denying that. Okay, but when he's played anybody any good, he really hasn't been that good. Let's be honest, right? When there's not a hole you can run a Mack truck through, he's not busting off 70-yard runs and 60-yard runs and 50-yard runs. He's 2 yards a carry because he gets hit and folds, I want a guy in there that, like maybe a Tony Jones, he's more of a power guy, it seems like. When he gets hit, man, he's not just going down. He's driving his feet and getting that extra 2 or 3 yards, and you don't see that out of Josh. So I don't know. I'm not saying I don't appreciate what he's been doing because it's impressive. His statistics are great, and I'm not trying to sit here and be an idiot in terms of I'd never want him back, but I think that's the best thing for this team at the running back position after this year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. So what do we got for those Twitter questions? Let's get that rolling.
Okay, you're pressuring me now.
I know.
Okay, so I asked on Twitter, and my notifications have been going crazy. First question I got was, hang on, it was a couple days ago. Head coach replacements.
Head coach replacements. Okay. Well, I don't know. You go first.
Dude, that's the $1 million question. It's almost like it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter.
Yeah.
But like at this point, you just almost need that new voice in there. If you're gonna make that change, that's what it's for. You're not getting Nick Saban. Very, very, very unlikely you get Urban Meyer. I mean, Chip Kelly's out there. Les Miles is out there. Bob Stoops is out there. I mean, those are some good names. My personal favorite is not Les Miles. But I'm not as invested in this question right now because I don't know if that's the right thing. So it's really kind of hard for me to say. But if I had to pick, I mean, I would want Chip Kelly, and I would have to hope that when Chip Kelly came in, he'd bring in somebody, he'd keep an Elko on or find somebody that could actually coach the defensive side of the ball because you still have to stop people. I think he's a good enough coach that, as long as is he mentally and is he a guy that even wants to come back to college knowing that he's got a little glimpse of the NFL? I don't know. How is his ego? That's a good question. Mm-hmm. But, it's hard for me to answer, but a couple names, unless we can get Urban Meyer, there's really not anybody that I'm completely invested in even over Brian Kelly at this point.
Yeah, and I think that also kind of plays into do you get rid of Brian Kelly? If there's no coaches really right now out there that are, possibly looking or you think you could get to come to Notre Dame, why fire him? Now, if there's an all of a sudden something changes and Nick Saban's on the table, yeah, you might start going after him. But
yeah.
I would hate to see us fire Brian Kelly and then hire some defensive coordinator that's coached for 4 years. So, I don't even know who to say who would, come. I think you kind of threw some people out there, but I don't think I could confidently say right now who I would want to see or know who I think would come.
Well, some people say PJ Fleck, okay? And my thing with that is look, if you're going to get rid of Brian Kelly to hire some young, up-and-coming, motivating guy, and you're going to take that risk, I really think in 3-4 years we're going to be right back in the same spot. That's, to me, I don't think that is a reasonable long-term fix. I don't know what he would get us to. It's that to me that you're just taking a risk at that point. I'd rather keep Brian Kelly. And a lot of people are like, well, he's so good, he's a motivator, he's young, and okay, well, does he win games?
Right?
Because that's why you're firing Brian Kelly. So
yeah,
I don't know. But that was from Shay McCormick on Twitter, at Shay McCormick. Actually, he was the guy that came on the podcast one week when you were absent. This was like 2 years ago. And I literally just tweeted out, and Dixie Domer was with us, and I said, hey, Augie can't come. Anybody want to just come on and shoot the shit? And he was the lucky contestant. So thanks, Shay. Appreciate that.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for watching.
Next question is from our boy Stan Cherry. He wants to know our opinion on the return policy at the Hames Notre Dame bookstore.
I don't know what the return policy is.
I have no idea either.
I looked it up. I'll look it up for him.
It seems like a legitimate question that some people want to return some Rockney gear or something, you know?
Yeah, I have a feeling they want to return the 33 trucking
There you
apparel
go.
that they all
I
bought.
think that question's coming. I think that I saw that through our little mix here. But
Yeah, okay. But Stan, I cannot find anything on the internet for the return policy. I'm gonna go ahead and probably say you might be out of luck.
I know that they have issues when you order things online and things shipping on time and having sizes available. So can't imagine their return policy being any better than that.
You know what? In 2012, I do remember this. In 2012, I returned a hoodie that my girlfriend at the time bought me. She thought it was a medium. Let's just put that out there for a second.
Oh God.
So I did return that, and I think I got a gift card. I didn't get cash. I got a gift card. So
they pretty much gave you store credit.
Yeah.
Well, those bastards.
Yeah, those greedy bastards.
Okay, I have another one from Justin DiMartino. I don't know if you remember him from Fair State or not.
Yeah, he played on the hockey team, did he not?
Yeah, he was big. You know, he was a contributing member on the old Fair State hockey team when we went down to the Frozen Four. I think he was relatively young then, or at least college years wise. But you know, a guy I've kind of kept in touch with on Twitter and had a couple classes with. Great guy and really good guy to talk sports with.
Remember partying with them after they won the CCHA?
I do.
That year
we drank out of the cup.
We did drink out of the CCHA cup. I still tell all my friends that. So claim to fame.
We literally so I kind of had a little hookup there with my roommate. His sister was in a relationship with one of the senior hockey players, and I don't think they're together any longer, but you know, that was our hookup. We always had the opportunity to go over there and hang out with those guys, and it was a lot of fun. Had a great time. I remember almost fighting one of the guys, and that would have been a terrible mistake. I didn't really know who he was. This was very early, and it was this guy. I don't remember his name, but like he said something or did something to Alexis's drink, and I was like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And he goes, what are you gonna do? And I was like, don't touch her drink again, and we're going to find out, you know? And, like, I come to find out later, it's, like, one of the most badass dudes on the team, right? You know, of course, then I'm like, yo, we're good, man. I'm, like, drunk, like, yo, let's make up here. You know, the cheesy little makeup, so.
Pussy.
Yeah,
Get in a freaking fight.
I was told by somebody at that party that night, dude, I wouldn't, he's on the hockey team, and he's one of these guys. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
Hoser.
You know, so, yeah. That was not my best moment. But anyways, to Justin's question, he wants to know why Notre Dame and Michigan State just flat out didn't show up this week.
Well, I think we answered the Notre Dame question kind of earlier. No one really knows why they didn't show up. Why didn't Michigan State not show up? I'll tell you why, Justin. And this is a reason for all teams that play at noon on Saturdays. Because no college football player wants to get up at probably 7 in the morning, go to the stadium, and start kickoff at noon. And no college student wants to get up at 5:30 in the cocksucking morning to get up and start drinking for a noon start. Ban noon games, and we'll have better games.
Okay. Justin, and you're going to hate me for this. I know you're a Michigan State fan, and, you know, you seem to be, over the years, as we've talked, you seem to be a very realistic fan and person, and I'm going to say you're just no good. Michigan State's just absolutely no good. And I did everything I could to hold on and cling on to that win that we had in East Lansing this year as what was a legitimate win. But as I've kind of watched Michigan State the last couple of weeks, and obviously their complete no-show against Ohio State, you know, I don't think you're any good. So that would be my reason. And you're on the road. It's hard to win on the road.
Noon start.
So
That's what it was. Noon start.
Next question. Hold on. Mark, our boy Mark, and the Irish Wonder, wants to know what came first, the chicken or the egg.
On the 5th day, God created the chicken.
Is that real?
I have no freaking.
I don't know. I'm oblivious to religion stuff like that, so I don't know. I would have believed you if you would have said yes.
I'm a believable person, Bray.
Well,
what came first, the chicken or the egg? I'm saying the chicken.
Well, how did the chicken get there?
A mixture of chemicals that were brought out of the air. I don't.
So I'm going to go the other way with it. I'm going to say there was a weird concoction of snakes and other animals and soil that just formed an egg and a chicken popped out of it.
Well, what if like a dinosaur and something with like of a bird type?
Sure.
Just one day we're feeling each other at the club of the dinosaur club, and they're like, "Hey, you want to go home?" And boing boing. Next thing you know, a little chicken came out.
Yeah, it was like a pterodactyl and whatever. Like what was Petrie in The Land Before Time? What was he?
I can honestly tell you, I never watched that.
What? How do you spell Petrie?
I can honestly tell you, I don't know that.
Petrie, Land Before Time. We got this. What kind of animal was he?
We're talking about Land Before Time.
I'm just saying, nothing really comes. Whatever. If Petrie was a pterodactyl, then I apologize. He may be, but whatever Petrie from The Land Before Time was and a pterodactyl, they got together and boom, there's your chicken.
Chicken. There you go, Mark. We just taught you history.
Yep.
Get woke,
Science.
Get woke.
Okay. The next question from Jeff. Jeff ND at Jeff ND fan. Do people regret buying a 33 trucking hat?
Absolutely.
Okay, hold on. I can't say that because, and I don't 100% know, but I believe somebody told me that all proceeds from the 33 trucking merchandise was going to some charity. So I don't know if you can completely say that I regret buying it, but do you regret the idea is probably the better question.
Yeah. Oh, so I looked up Petrie. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say what he is, but I don't know. It's Pteranodon. Pterandon?
That's what Petrie is?
Pterandon?
Okay, so a pterandon and a pterodactyl. That's how you got your chicken egg.
Yeah, because the P is silent in pterodactyl, so right? Yeah,
Yes.
So pterandon. He's a pterandon pterandon. From the Lake Cretaceous of North America. Yep, there you go.
All right.
But back to the 33 trucking.
Okay, there you go. Go ahead. I thought that was your answer.
Yeah, I think people regret it.
No, I'm saying Petrie or whatever he is.
Oh yeah, Petrie. Yeah, that's my answer too. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, do people regret buying 33 trucking hats? Petrie from The Land Before Time.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I think they do. I think people will regret it.
Michael Kelly at mkelly_nd. When I tweeted any specific topics you want discussed on this week's From the Dome episode, Chip Long and his inability to run a misdirection play or a simple screen pass.
We already kind of talked about it. I don't think his play calling was there all day. Just didn't do we weren't doing what we've done well in the past, and it was frustrating to watch. Also, want to put one more thing on the 33 trucking hat that kind of came to my mind while you were asking that question. I look at the 33 trucking logo, emblem, and whole thing now as a failed presidential campaign.
There you
How
go.
often do you see Hillary Clinton shirts walking around here 2016? She
Yep.
lost. That's 33 trucking now.
I'm with you.
Go ahead and answer Mr. Kelly's question.
Can't rep it anymore. It's almost like Sunday after a loss. I just can't put on my Notre Dame stuff and wear it out in public.
So quick story. So we were hanging out with these guys at this house that on Saturday in Cincy, and so we had walked down to the bar and not everybody went. So I walked back and I had a jacket over my Notre Dame quarter zip, and I just didn't want to hear it. So I zipped my jacket up and hid the Irish. I couldn't do it. I couldn't take the shit.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't want to go to the grocery store on Sunday after a loss and wear it. I just don't, because I'll run into a Michigan fan that I know, and he'll just have to talk to me about it.
Exactly.
That's the other bad thing about having a podcast. First of all, okay, look, we've had decent growth this year, like decent, consistent growth, which we very much appreciate. But like for some reason, people like outside of my small group always want my opinion. Like, there are people that I group text with during games and about the team, and that's completely different. I'm not even talking about that. But, like, there are people at work that just hear I have a Notre Dame football podcast and just expect me to break games down for them. That's, like, the worst thing in the world. Like, that's like, I couldn't imagine being Denzel Washington and running into somebody at the grocery store and having to talk about all the movies that I've made. Like, and I'm just a podcaster in the Notre Dame football community.
Bray is tired of the paparazzi.
I'm tired of it.
Fame is going to his head. He's tired of the people. Stop talking to this man. He's gonna have a freaking escort with him at all times.
I'm gonna need a bodyguard. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Security detail. Shit.
So anyway, sorry, a little rant there. Okay, well, my answer to your question, Michael Kelly, is that's a great question. We didn't see any misdirection, and look, Chip Long had a bad day. It appeared up to that point he had several good days, and this was his bad day, and it didn't help him that, I don't know how we were even going to run a screen pass when his quarterback can't throw a spiral or a pass to the flat to the running back, not at his feet. And we tried to run another screen pass to Alizé Mack that we couldn't complete, and, it's a good question. Chip Long had a bad day, and, it's not really an excuse, but I mean, that's all I got for you.
Okay, the college football playoff rankings are starting to come out slowly but surely. I just do want to put that out there. And Notre Dame is number 8.
Okay, so we're still top 10.
Still top 10 over Ohio State.
Oh.
Just under Georgia, who's at 7. Penn State at 10. USC, TCU 11, 12. And then
what's USC? What's USC?
USC's 11.
Okay, so that's the thing. Like, think about this. We do have some good wins. USC is going to end up being a top 10 team, right? Stanford, if we can win that game, they just beat Washington, right? NC State is still, on NC State. Like, they're a decent win, right? We haven't completely shit the bed. We had a good year, right? We still have things to do, but I don't know.
Are you surprised we're over Ohio State, who just had a big win against Michigan State?
No, our 2 losses are better.
Okay.
I mean, they do have the loss to Oklahoma, which is about even with either a Georgia or a Miami at this point. But you can't lose to Iowa as bad as they did on the road.
Right. So your top 4 this week, coming in at number 4 is Oklahoma. Number 3, the U, Miami. Clemson at 2, Alabama at 1. 5 and 6 are Wisconsin and Auburn in that order.
Okay.
So that's that kind of rounds out your top 10. Not really surprised by any of that, I can honestly say.
No, but Auburn, man, they have a little. They might be the sneaky 2-loss snub. If they can beat Alabama, I mean, they're not in Georgia's division of the SEC, right?
I do not know,
because Georgia's already clinched their spot in the SEC championship game.
Right. The thing that's going to be big is going to be Clemson and Miami are going to have to play each other for an ACC championship, I believe. Or is that correct?
That is
so,
true.
So one of those teams is more than likely going to drop out, unless it's like a 1-point loss, I would think.
Yes, that will be a scenario that would be interesting to tell here.
So right now, Wisconsin's looking good. But you're right. Auburn could be a late sneak in, or even maybe a Georgia team if they win the SEC championship.
So hold on. I'm trying to determine here. So, yes, Auburn is not on the same side as Georgia. So Georgia has already locked up the SEC East and is playing in Atlanta for the SEC championship game. If Auburn is able to beat Alabama and be 7-1 in the conference, I don't know. I mean, and they beat Georgia, that's going to be a hard 2-loss team to keep out of the playoff.
Right. You're absolutely correct.
Anyways, without getting too crazy into that, that's another week. We'll break that down another week. So we have a couple more Twitter questions to get to here. From Craig Senior at Senior Redneck, iPhone or Android is question number 1 of his 2-part question.
Okay. Oh, you want me to answer the first part?
I do. I
first?
want you to answer it. Yes.
iPhone all day, cuz.
Yes, I agree. There is iPhone to the death of me. The Android is an absolute piece of junk. So.
Yep, and I like where I can have my watch, my computer, my phone, all on the same page at all times.
Yeah, get on your PC and text your friends on your iMessage and tell me that's not convenient.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't do it on a PC with my point. So get on your MacBook and do it
all day, every day.
Okay, second part. What is the magical process that makes our thoroughly chewed corn come back out whole again? This is like a flashback Dear Dixie question.
Yeah. Jesus. You see, the corn, when you eat it, is a reproductive, regenerating food, starchy food. So the acidic acid of your stomach actually will give a little combustion with the corn that you've chewed up, and will bring it right back to life, and it comes out your
Combustion.
anus hole. It comes out your anus hole whole again. It's how the early Indians regenerated food. They just eat some corn, poop it out, pick out the corn, and then boil that for the next day's dinner.
Wow.
Very efficient. Early Indians, very efficient people.
I like the combustion that happens in your stomach. That's
Yeah, this is all science, by the way. I'm
Science.
in college, so.
So my obvious answer, without being too serious, would be, I mean, there's no way you chew every piece of corn in your mouth. It just comes out and it goes through my scientific answer would be, so your intestines are famous for taking food and maybe a couple day old food as it's kind of working your way through and grabbing little pieces of that chicken McNugget and launching it into a turd with your corn. And sometimes the magical process, it's like if you believe in creation from God, like, how the heck did this just happen? And sometimes you poop out a whole piece of corn or a whole piece of green bean or a whole popsicle, and you
Whoa! You're pooping out a whole popsicle?
yeah, my intestine has the capability. I can't explain it. It has the capability of re-putting food back together, even if it's a popsicle. And
Does it come out frozen still?
yes,
That's impressive.
and it feels great.
That
when
means
that's
your
happening.
asshole's at a below freezing temperature.
Yes. My whole intestine is. It takes food you've eaten and just puts it back together somehow.
Wow.
So,
Learn something every day, I tell you what. Just want to put a disclaimer out there. If anybody's listening and they want to use this like in a project or something, don't. Okay.
science fair. I'd say use it for your science fair.
Okay. All right. Whatever. I would say no, but to whoever wants to do it, I guess.
Okay. Another question from George Bashira. It is at Irish Fan Forever GB, and the number 4 in there. His opinion, and he thought that the team lost focus because of the 33 Trucking presidential campaign, as you would say. Is that a legitimate point?
I think you could make a case for it. I don't believe that really did anything. You could say it maybe kind of made them think they were better than they were. I just don't see where that became a huge distraction.
Okay. I don't know. I think they have enough distractions. I had weird feelings about the whole 33 Trucking thing when it came out and how they had to spin it so that it wasn't exclusively about Josh Adams and it has about the whole team. And, I don't know. I think more of a distraction was maybe in their team meetings when Notre Dame Digital Media released that video, like a Sports Center type commercial of the guys staring at a whiteboard for like 30 seconds, and they just kept going to different views of different guys just staring at the whiteboard. And when they said, okay, we get it, and they kind of get up and leave the room, and the camera goes to the whiteboard and it says beat Miami or beat Canes. Like, I think they maybe should have spent some time in the player meetings talking about the old scouting report.
Film?
Yeah.
Watching
some film instead of a whiteboard that just says beat Canes.
There you go.
Okay. Another person asks, why is Ball State just as good at football, or just as good a football school as Notre Dame?
Well, as much as I would love for this to be true, Ball State is terrible. They are a high school football team, and it sucks. It sucks a lot. I think we're going to set a record for most points given up in a season. We gave up 63 points last week to Toledo, I believe. No, that was 2 weeks before that. Who did we play last week? Akron, maybe. I don't remember. Gave up 63 points. That's all I remember. the MAC sucks, dude. Why do they play on Thursdays? I mean, Kent State's playing right now, and I think there might be 5 fans in the stadium.
Yeah, talk about, okay, you're nitpicky about noon games. Talk about a Thursday night game. Like, that's just stupid. That's more stupid than a noon game to me.
It's all because ESPN pays the MAC to do it.
Yeah. And they're going to take it. They're going to continue to take it.
They're absolutely going to take it. But it sucks when you go to a school that gets 2 home Saturday games a year to go tailgate at, and then they play on a Thursday night in November when it's negative 14 degrees out, and no thank you, I'm not going to that game.
Yeah. Well, the only potential that a game has is it always seems like when we have a blizzard, it's not like on a Saturday. It's like the first blizzard that we have is on a Thursday night in, early to mid-November, and it snows 6 inches. So you got a legitimate shot there playing a little snowball. That's the only upside to me.
Who wants to go sit in that?
Oh, I would. I hope this weekend, like, the weather looks miserable. I just would rather it be 28 degrees, and I'd want us to get a foot of snow while we're sitting there watching the game.
Yeah, but at least you get to watch a decent football team. If I'm going to go watch a snowball here, I'm watching 2-8 Ball State play 4-7, Toledo or Akron. I mean,
yeah, it's no fun. You're right.
Stupid.
Is 33 Trucking giving refunds for not delivering the goods promised? Did it ever promise any goods? I don't know if it ever did that. I mean, I guess the campaign was 33 Trucking, but I don't think they ever came out and said, we're just going to run you over.
Look, right now the truck's just at a truck stop. We're just at a little overnight truck stop. We're going to get back on the road this week. We're going to keep on trucking. We're going to get to our destination. There you go.
It's pulled over. It's paid about $6 to use the showers. Probably grabbed a bag of Chex Mix. And, what amazes me about truck stops is you see all the electronics that they have in there that these truckers actually buy, like TVs and crazy, like radio systems, CBs. And, it's just like, these people buy this stuff?
Yeah. I mean, look, the truck's still running. Just truck drivers have like a limit on hours they got to drive. So we're just getting a little snooze.
Does Notre Dame wearing era jerseys this weekend make you sad, knowing that he's won a lot of national championships and we will never see one in our lifetime?
No, because I don't think that's true. I think we will see one. I'm hoping I got a good probably 50 years at least left on my life. That's 50 years of, we're going to win a championship in 50 years. I'll call it.
Okay.
We have a better chance of football being outlawed in the next 50 years.
We probably have a better chance of football. Well, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a Twitter poll. Do we have a better chance of Notre Dame have a better chance of winning a national championship in the next 50 years or football being outlawed? I mean, that's a good question.
I don't know. CTE City.
I'm putting that Twitter poll up. We'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
So one last thing I want to say just before we wrap this up about this college football season and how goofy it's kind of been. Like, look at Ohio State when they go and just beat the crap out of Michigan State. And look at when then they go and lose bad to Iowa. And then, you've got other various situations like Georgia. They kick the crap out of everyone they've played and then go to Auburn and lose by 20 again. Like, how up and down some of these teams have been. It's kind of crazy to think, like, that's why I'm going to try and stay a little optimistic with this team, because, like, you can look like absolute crap one week and apparently come back and beat Michigan State at home 48-3 or whatever that final score of that game was. So, like, but what disappoints me the most about this opportunity, and again, it just seems like we miss opportunities, it's Groundhog Day 2.0. The title of our episode when we lost to Georgia was Groundhog Day, in terms of it's the same thing, we're losing big games, etc. And so my point is, to remain a little bit optimistic is fine, but like you look at college football as a whole, and this is the year that Alabama looks the most human. Like they played a relatively close game on the road against Texas A&M. Mississippi State had a legitimate shot at staying competitive and winning that game this past weekend. So there is not a team, in my honest opinion, this year that is like head and shoulders above everybody. This isn't 2012 Bama or 2011 Bama or 10 Bama when people are saying they can beat the Cleveland Browns. Like, it is a relatively wide open playoff scene this year. I don't think that there's a clear favorite.
And you know what? It's good for college football, man. And I mean, I hate when Alabama just goes out and destroys everybody. So it's going to be fun to watch. I wish we were in it. I wish we were going to be one of those teams that are going to get a chance. But hey, I'm going to remain a little bit positive. I wasn't positive Saturday night. I was ready to, throw a pool stick across the bar. But for the sake of me not getting a kick out of a bar and me trying to be a positive fan, I'm going to see what this week brings, and hopefully it's a win and we get back on our feet.
So Stanford is now ranked 22nd according to this poll that was just released. Okay.
So, yeah, go ahead.
No, go. You got it.
Yeah. So I mean, just interesting stat I just saw on Twitter, and I want to find it again. Notre Dame schedule this year, we have 6 teams that are currently in the top 25 of the college football playoff rankings. Number 3, Miami. Number 7, Georgia. Lost to both of them. Number 11, USC. Number 17, Michigan State. Number 19, NC State. Beat those 3. And then you play number 22, Stanford, in the last week of the season. 6 teams in the top 25.
Yeah, which is a good schedule. But again, the biggest games that mattered when there are top 10 teams at this point in the season, you lose, right?
Exactly.
And this goes into what I want to end the show with. Notre Dame, in Power 5 ranked road games since 2012, is 0-8. So think about that as you don't want Brian Kelly fired, right? I mean, even to me, it's like, God, we really can't win that big game. Right. Again, let me say that again. Notre Dame, in Power 5 ranked road games since 2012, 0-8.
You're just trying to sway me the other way.
I'm trying to say that we're going to lose to Stanford. If they're still ranked, according to this stat that I just saw, we're losing to Stanford.
It's very possible. if Love's in the backfield, it's very possible.
It sucks, man. It's Groundhog Day 2.0. And, I'm tired of it. But I guess this is the state of the program, and this is where we are. And, is Jack Swarbrick going to accept that? Is Brian Kelly going to accept that? Are these players going to accept that? We have a good recruiting class coming in. We don't talk about recruiting a lot. We don't follow it very much. I know enough that this 18 class, I've seen enough on Twitter, is relatively solid. I mean, we're talking possibly, top 7 material if we can get a couple extra guys later in the class. So, I mean, are we going up? It appears that way, but we can't. We got to get over the hump and win that top 10 game.
You're absolutely correct. Disappointing. Groundhog 2.0, and I feel like we've been here before, and probably will be here again.
So what's going to happen is we are going to, if we win out, and Ohio State wins out, we're going to play Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl again, or some crazy bowl. Like, we're going to play a team like that. Or we're going to play Auburn if they don't make it in. We're going to be in a New Year's Six bowl if we win. We might play Georgia again. Yeah. There you go. There's another top 10 showdown. There's another opportunity. Winning that game can really, really make this game go away, in my opinion, and build on something.
It definitely can, but I don't really have confidence that we could win that game.
Of course not, and you shouldn't.
But.
All right. Well, we play Navy this weekend, and we didn't talk one lick about it. I'm not even giving you a prediction.
Option attacks come to South Bend, and we struggle with it every year.
Yep, it could be it has the recipe and to be an absolute long day. Weather's going to suck, and it's Navy. The only good thing is the uniforms, as devastated as I was, and I tweeted this today, as devastated as I was this past weekend, seeing those uniforms is pretty cool. Those helmets that I saw, those are dope.
I think we should just wear the old leather helmets, not make our helmets look like leather. We should wear the leather helmets
with no face masks. But that'll make Josh Adams tough. That'll make his balls bigger.
Exactly.
So, but those cleats are sweet too, the old leather cleats. But regardless, it has much less spice to it as we, once again, don't live up to expectations or, can win a big game. So
it's like a Shamrock Series game last year against Navy that no one wanted to go to, or was it Army? I don't know who we played.
Yeah, it was Army in San Antonio,
and no one wanted to go.
We had a great time, but you're right, nobody did want to go. It's not good when you buy tickets in the upper deck, and then you immediately in the first quarter when you get there, you are scoping out your lower deck seats that you're going to go sit at because no one's there, and they were on the 50-yard line. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I hope the stadium's not like that this week. Obviously, it probably won't be, but hopefully people come out still, and it's a good showing, and hopefully get a win and just move on with our year.
I expect multiple, visual, apparent empty seats on the TV. I expect it. Weather's going to suck. No one's going to come out and watch that game.
All right, we'll have to see. I'm assuming you'll be out there, and I'm assuming you'll be tailgating. So have fun, stay warm, and I'll be warm in my couch.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate your support throughout the season. Again, I've said this a couple times. We have had relatively solid growth this year in terms of downloads and listens, and we appreciate that support. And we don't do this for a living in any stretch of the imagination. So we appreciate you hanging out with us, and hopefully we offer some sort of outlet to you, to learn a little bit about Notre Dame football, or get you through a tough time like this. So thank you, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.
See ya.
Pop a bottle for the girl with no boyfriend. Drink it all, we don't care, we just order more. And light a blunt for the team, cause we all here. Take a hit and make a hit, nigga, this is our year. In the game like a playbook, zoning out. No idea where we're going, one day we will figure out. Everything was meant to be, don't trip, it's only bitter now. Life is just a bitch, but don't you worry, I will sit her down. Tell her bring the ketchup, these weenies need a dressing. I ain't worried about your hustle, boy. Why you keep on pressing? Let me live, cause I will die if I don't sit and drink my dreams. A little bit, a little more, a little this. She the reason you just up here at the show, right? I bring your girl out and she can stay the whole night. If this the good life, I'm aiming for a better one. You're shooting for the stars, boy, you gon' need a better gun. Cause tonight, homie, we don't give a shit, man. That's your girlfriend, can I be your girl's friend? Go, drink it all and then some. We gon' burn it all, don't worry about your income. Cause tonight, homie, we don't give a shit, man. That's your girlfriend, can I be your girl's friend? Go, drink it all and then some. We gon' burn it all, don't worry about your income. Over here, we only really party with the baddest. And with you is when she turns into an actress. Showing up, you know what? We gon' do this damn thing. Sister, I just do some hip things. Every night is mine, is Christ. Boy, I pray to God and I did not sell my soul. I just gave him all we got. See this Jaeger got her giddy. Better tell her about my city and that Diddy shit. We smoke a puff, a cloud of something biggie. I'm 20 years young, living reckless with my friends. And if you forgot your wallet, just tell Ralph he got the spends. Waiting for that night, yeah, I think about it all. It's a red carpet moment when these lights begin to call. Me and my girl chilling, smiling with a pose. We just looking at the camera, hoping everybody shows. Cause tonight, homie, we don't give a shit, man. That's your girlfriend, can I be your girl's friend? Go, drink it all and then some. We gon' burn it all, don't worry about your income. Cause tonight, homie, we don't give a shit, man. That's your girlfriend, can I be your girl's friend? Go, drink it all and then some. We gon' burn it all, don't worry about your income. Cause tonight, homie, we don't give a shit, man. That's your girlfriend, can I be your girl's friend? Go, drink it all and then some. We gon' burn it all, don't worry about your income.